Okay, so I have an update. So I'm hooking up the Intellitronix digital dash inside the Monte Carlo. Now, with that being said, everything on the back of the dash has its own ground. So the fuel is gonna have a signal in the ground. Um, Oil is gonna have its signal slash power in the ground. Um, Coolant temperature sensor is gonna have its own ground as well as its signal slash power. Um, the only ones that do not need a ground, because they pick up their ground from the main ground wire on the back of the dash, would be your blinkers and the tack and the speedo. So I have those hooked up, and this is what it looks like. So as you can see, I do not have the oil or the temperature hooked up right now, but the volts is hooked up and the fuel's hooked up. The only thing with the fuel is it's slow. I don't know why, but it slowly goes up to what you have. So let me show you up under the hood. Okay, so as far as your temperature sensor, remember at the beginning I said that I wouldn't be using the one that they sent. Well, I did. The reason being is because it has to have a signal in its ground. So if you're running a F body temperature sensor, then it comes with 3 wires. You have the 2 that runs to the computer, and then 1 that will run into the dash. Well, the 1 that runs into the dash, you still would need a ground. Well, I tried to just put it as a ground to the battery. It didn't work. Tried to put it to a ground on the body. It didn't work. Just tried to use a random screw. It did not work. But what did work was if I took those 2 wires and I spliced directly into the 2 wires that come off of the computer and go to the actual coolant temperature sensor, it will work. But I did not like the way it looked and the way it was routed. I didn't know if, I don't know. So I just went ahead and ran it to the passenger side head. To me, it's a lot cleaner look. You don't even know it's over there. Also, the same thing. I don't know if y'all can see, but right there is the oil sender that comes in the kit. Now, mine has 2 connectors, which would be a power and a ground. I have seen the ones that just have the power. If you just have the power, you're just gonna run just that signal wire to the dash. Mine calls for a ground also, so you have to run a ground. Now, the thing with that is, so you go from the power side of the dash wire to the power side of the sender. Well, then you have to go from the negative side of the dash to the negative side of the sender. Well, then from there, you have to go from the negative side of the sender, and it says, see this black wire right here that I'm tugging on? This little bitty one? It goes from the sender, the negative side of the sender, to the cylinder head. So basically, it's gonna have 2 grounds. It's gonna have the ground from the cylinder head to the sender, and then from the sender to the negative on the dash. I tried to run it without the one going to the head. It did not work. I don't understand it, but it did not work. It may work for some of you, but it did not work for me. But as I said, we are making some leeway, and as you can see, turn of the key, we do have power.